hours to come back.
Yeah, 2 hours past it. No, it was during the week. I was there with the government. No, I feel like writing, editing was like just made it for 4 o'clock. I wasn't shooting for that outside of it at that point. It was nice. I think I was only doing 1 day because that's when he was actually just to like get him. Because that's a hot day. He was like so nice.
That's what he's doing. I thought I was going to get trampled, but yeah, during the trial, it was John Holtzman and I was every day, so we're into it. The overtime sounds nice, but it's more than I said. That's going to be forced down.
I know, well, that's the thing, and now they make you like save your spot and like be in the chair.
Yeah, sure.
But you're gonna see someone out in 15-degree weather overnight. Let me tell you what, if you were like for me, we're gonna do 8 hours a week, we're gonna sit in this chair, I'd be like, fine, whatever.
Yeah, we can sit in the
Right.
yeah, but yeah, I guess it's not the same. No. I guess. It's the sound of expert law cases. Her son is something upset or something.
Yeah. you guys?
I don't know, you told me what I paid, I don't know if it's whatever.
Yeah.
So you got to like a show now, this moving those lines with the outside. What's up?
Somebody said it, Jacob?
3 cabinets, 4 cabinets, okay, who's missing?
He's trying
I think we're good to go.
You announcing?
No. Mary Ellen will be down. He's on his way down.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Sean, can I grab you up? No, I want your cup now, I don't want to break your.
Hi, my concentration's.
I'm just
An
distracted.
open Word document?
Yeah.
No, I just want to talk to you about the practice request just a minute. I'll talk to you. No big deal. I'd say like 5 minutes. Is this easel here for a reason?
Whatever they are, I mean, please don't know.
I think it was there.
Okay. Teddy, you working with me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Can't miss that festival.
I know it's
the best.
How's your summer going? It's cool. It's my impressive time.
I had a wedding this weekend, so.
Yeah. You get 1 day, you get 1 day license. Yeah. My gossip right there.
Yeah.
Up in Vermont.
Also, like, my running shoes wear out.
I remember, really works in
How many
Tucson,
miles?
but you saw this really nice people like,
Oh, you officially said Rick.
I probably don't know how it's
They hired me.
But now the kids are.
nicely retired, right?
You're gonna get back into it. Well, that's good.
It's just so sad, we'd be like, I don't care. I'm like, all right, solid.
Sorry, they were for us. They might bring a chicken meat or
All the absolute nonsense.
Since the time you get balls.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they can chase her for that, when a family can chase her for that. Yeah, the sun sound. If they really wanted, they could have someone make all the books for them, and they were the ones who do it, like, to go. Yeah.
Good morning. You're welcome. Here.
Oh, this is gonna be interactive. Oh, no, it's the turn around, but. I see a stamp in your computer.
Yeah, we'll make this free throw back.
No, I think you should act.
Is that what executive one?
Do a little, what's the guy name? Steve Cornett. I think you do a little Steve Cornett.
The one with the tape.
Right now, he's having coffee on his desk. Thinking about coming out. I think he'll.
I'll pull it, yeah,
He's out there, whoever, I don't know. I think he sent maybe to everybody.
Is that good with you guys?
It's got some layers. Maybe it's a little, yeah.
It's not really anything like
It's nothing.
terribly significant, it's just if there was a question to kind of show you, like, to reference where things are, so obviously it's just got kind of notes on it, so it's not a big, we have like a,
We'll just take a copy of it.
Commissioner's gonna kick things off.
How's everyone doing today?
Hi, Commissioner.
Gentlemen, do you want to stand up for the commission? That would be great.
Want me to just talk in that one? Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Good morning, everyone. So there are a few events in our city that impact, some of our neighborhoods more than our Caribbean Festival. It's certainly a cultural event that we love to have in the city, but we just want to be more mindful of making sure the residents are aware of the impacts that the festival has in their neighborhoods, and also make sure that the public is aware of the expectations we have for folks that come in our city to come to these events in general, and also provide some guidance to the residents and the public around how we can all stay safe, during large events in general. We've had some changes to the route this year, in closures in regards to this festival and how we're deploying our officers. The Jove Parade, which starts off the morning traditional events for the Caribbean Festival, starts at 6 a.m. in the morning on Saturday morning coming up here, and followed by the Caribbean Festival itself. The parade itself begins at 1 p.m. later on that day. We want to make sure people understand that the route is different this year, so we do not want anyone to go to the Talbot Avenue area. People may be confused and may come into town. A lot of people come from outside Massachusetts to this event, and we want to make sure that people understand that the Talbot Avenue area will be closed to the public. For the most part, that street will be closed off, and that people need to actually go, if they want to attend the Jove event itself, they need to go to Circuit Drive by Franklin Park near Shattuck Hospital, because that's where the beginning of the Jove event will begin. There will be no motor vehicles, in that area, and no parking, with very little parking in general around that. So the public that plans on coming to an event should take that in consideration and plan accordingly. We always encourage people to take the T in general to all our events in the city. It's a good way to get around, and today would be, this weekend will be no different. Again, I can't emphasize enough about Talbot Avenue, making sure folks don't go to that area. I don't know how much has been publicized. The events, does have a website, and they do put stuff out, but we're relying on you all to make sure folks know that Talbot Avenue is not a location where we want or expect people to go, particularly for the Jove event. We spent a fair amount of time putting resources in the area where the event's supposed to be, so that's what we'd like people to be. This is a good time to touch on some of the street closures in general. People can always access this information on bpdnews.com. We have a whole list of the street closures for people to go and use as a resource. Circuit Drive, which directly goes through Franklin Park, will be closed, like I said, to motor vehicle traffic starting Friday night after the Zoo Lights program ends. That's an event that the zoo puts on. Upon the closing of that on Friday evening through Sunday morning, Circuit Drive will be closed for motor vehicle traffic. And while Talbot Avenue is, like I said, not the site for Jove this year, again, I'm going to emphasize that from Friday night through Sunday morning, it will be closed to motor vehicle traffic. Walnut Avenue, which is a street that runs pretty close to in the rear back Franklin Park, will also be closed except for residential folks that live on that area. We want to also advise that American Legion Highway will be open. However, if the need arises, we may close it, so we want to make sure that people in that area seek an alternate route or be prepared to seek an alternate route if we decide to close that for some reason. Our partners at the Massachusetts State Police have jurisdiction over Franklin Park and Morton Street, and they will be patrolling those areas and providing public safety in those particular places, and we appreciate them for their support. They are one of our long-standing partners, and we appreciate them tremendously. It's also important to note that any streets that are closed usually means there's no parking in that area. Towing will start Friday evening in the areas where no parking has been posted and designated. We don't want to tow vehicles. This is not the intent, so that's why we're putting out notices to folks to pay attention to surroundings, read the signage regarding the parking, because we don't want to tow vehicles, but we do have to let people know that we will if they park in areas that have been designated no parking. As far as the Caribbean Parade itself, that begins at 1 p.m., the main parade will have a major impact on traffic from around 11 a.m. until potentially 7 p.m. It starts, the step off for that parade begins at 1 p.m. and it's scheduled permitted to end at 6 p.m. However, immediately following the 6 p.m. stop, We will be, doing street cleaning in the streets, and so we will ask pedestrians and folks in general, because there's no scheduled events from that point on, to make their way home or wherever they're going, because we need to clear the streets and clean the streets and make sure that these residential neighborhoods go back to normal. Regarding late night and overnight activities, Friday through Sunday, this event in general brings a lot of people from out of town, and there usually sometimes there's a lot of parties associated with it. So we are asking the public in general if there are any loud parties or any disturbances in their neighborhood whatsoever, that they call us immediately at 911 and let us know about those. If you see something, say something, please give us an opportunity to get there and intervene with some of these events that might be going on. We just don't want anything to happen, particularly with the overnight parties. There's been a pattern of pretty horrific things that happen in some of the overnight parties in general. And so we encourage the public pretty highly to let us know about those. That being said, we will be enforcing, again, in these illegal parties and things that might be going on, there will be some enforcement, not some, as much enforcement as we can do in general regarding them across the board. As far as folks that we call revelers that come in with car speakers and off-road vehicles, you're not welcome in the city. We're having zero tolerance for that. I think we have a good plan in place to make sure that happens. So if you have an intent to come in and do that, this is not the place or the weekend to do that in general across the board. So we are highly discouraging people to come in and do that. This event in general is considered a family-friendly, certainly a cultural event in general. So there's no weapons of any kind permitted in the area, or should people have in general. There's no reason to have a gun or anything like that walking around in an event like this. You're just asking for trouble, and we will do all that we can to separate you from those weapons and or hold you accountable for having them here in the city. Let's see. So it's also in regards to the revelers and things of that nature. We ask people if it's not associated with the carnival itself, which tends to have a lot of music and things of that sort, that, no loud music and our racing of engines and things of that nature, particularly in our neighborhoods. And if it does happen, we ask the residents to please call us and let us know. It's really important that we ask the public, if you see something, say something, dial 911. It's very important. That's how we get information. That's how we partner to stay safe together. So we're really encouraging the public to participate in doing these things. We will have, practically an entire police force working this weekend in general in many different ways. This is like a 3-phased event because it starts so early in the morning. This is at least a 12-hour event, and it's very impactful both to the residents and actually our officers in general. So it's a long day for a lot of people, so that's why we're spending a lot of time making sure people know what to expect as far as traffic, congestion, and where we're going to be and how we can all stay safe together. Of course, as always, there's zero tolerance to any kind of violence whatsoever in our city, and the expectation is people know how to behave and will behave, because that's what's expected if you come here. All right, so to recap, no guns, no weapons, no parking in many different places. We expect people to come and enjoy themselves and have a good time regarding the festival, starting in the morning with Jovet, and then in the afternoon, obviously with the parade. Late night, please don't have any late night parties, things of that nature. If you do, and you see it, your neighbors see it, please call us, let us know, we'll come do something about it. That being said, I understand this is a pretty long weekend in general. This event has had stuff happen before in the past, but as always, we try to plan for almost anything. But the fact is that if someone has ill intent on their minds, almost anyone can do something. But we will be there to hold the people accountable, but the expectation is nothing will happen because, we have, folks here that understand what's important in this city, and that's safety for all of us, and everyone will act accordingly. All right, and so before I end, take your questions, I want to bring up Chief Hooley to talk about some concerns, certainly around health. This is a long day for a lot of people, and there's certainly been some impacts as far as health is concerned.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good morning, everybody. Yeah, just a quick note. This is a great event, a great fun family event. We've been supporting it for since its inception, and we've been working very closely with the Boston Police Department to adjust, align our plans with street closures, hours, and everything else that could impact it. So just like any special event, whether it's 4th of July, first night, we get big crowds in town, marathon, St. Patrick's Day parade, right? Our goal is to, number one, maintain our coverage throughout the city, 911 for other parts of the city if there's medical emergencies. And then for the areas that are the neighborhoods around the event, because sometimes it's, how are we gonna get in and out to access their streets, to get to their address. And then on the route itself, for the participants, for the people who come to watch and see it, and everything else. So our plan will be multi-layered to that end. A couple of different things that, it is something that, again, I want to emphasize more the positive, because I know we're drawn so much to some things that have happened at other events in the past, but this is an event where routinely participants, people are out there thanking us for being there, and a lot of our department members, a lot of police, city employees, our families, a lot of their families come from one of the Caribbean communities that are celebrating. And so they're proud to be supporting it, proud to be identified with it. Having said that, a couple of different things. One, it is a long day, as the Commissioner just laid out. A lot of people come in from out of town. They may be up late night. Now in the morning you come out, you're doing Juve. A lot of people stay on to do the other event as well too. The vast majority of the stuff that we've seen either at our medical stations or we've had to take to the hospital have been 99% they're medically related. They're people that have overdone it. Some years too much in the heat. Mercifully, I don't think it's going to be too bad this year. But they're dehydrated, or maybe they were hydrating with the wrong liquid. And so things like that. People just maybe overindulging or what have you. It's a celebration after all. But so if people pace themselves, take care, be a good friend, good big wing man, woman, person. When you're with somebody, help keep an eye on somebody. If you think somebody's having a problem, bring them over to a medical station, or maybe have them step out. Same way if you're hosting a party at home or something like that. Hey, alcohol, cars, vehicles, motorbikes, they don't mix. Just the general things we would tell any big celebration. So keep things like that in mind. That'll save unnecessary transports to an emergency room, because that would really spoil people's holiday. So thank you very much. Forgive me a minute. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Hey, Commissioner, you
Yes.
were with us last year when 8 people were shot. A lot of those bad actors aren't watching this news conference, so they won't have a news recap. What's your message to people that, could plan to come and cause trouble?
Yeah, so don't, right? And that's the number one thing. We have a really good, strong plan. Changing the location, I think, it's a big feature of that, because it removes some of the elements that maybe existed before around that. And so, we have a lot of officers out there working. We have a lot of things in place. Early in the morning for Juve, it might be a little dark. We actually have a lighting crew there to kind of light up the things. We have additional cameras throughout the route and things of that nature, to make sure that we can identify people that might be up to no good in that way. We're doing all we can. We have all officers working. We have tons of specialized units working in general to address some of the areas that we may be concerned about. But this is a positive event in our community. And, you have an incident that happens, and it kind of mars the events in general. But the fact is for the overwhelmingly, the people come, they enjoy themselves, they go home, and that's it. And so we expect the same thing this year around that. And so, we're just doing more this year to make sure the impacts on our neighborhoods, particularly, Dorchester, parts of Jamaica Plain, that little area, the streets associated with that, the residents are aware. Every year we do get a complaint that, oh my God, we didn't know this weekend was Caribbean Festival, the streets are closed, I can't get in and out. And so we want to do more to make sure that we communicate with the public. This is an event that's happening, we're here, this is the impact, so they can plan accordingly.
Are you confident that you have enough police officers? There's been concerns from the union and the city council.
I don't know if there's a police department in this country that says we have enough police officers for the challenges that we have in this world. I mean, There's always more and more challenges in general, and so we would love to have more, and we are trying our best to do more, but it's not a situation where, you know, our mayor doesn't support us, or even city council doesn't support us. We have an issue with people wanting to do the job, right? That's the biggest issue that we have, you know, people that want to sign up to take our exam, to want to actually, you know, take the oath to serve the public. That's our issue. The fact is that the number of police officers you have is not correlated with the quality of police. Our officers that we have do a tremendous job. I mean, the fact is that, you know, we're about 3/4 through this year, and we statistically are doing better probably than any other time since we've been keeping record. And the fact is that some people, I don't know why, instead of actually holding us up and our officers up and our partners that are working so hard to make this the safest big city in America, we're talking as though it's the opposite. You know, and some of that I don't understand. But the fact is that I'm deeply proud of the men and women that do our job. I'm deeply proud of the partnerships we have with so many people, you know, our other law enforcement agencies, private sector agencies, and more importantly, all the city agencies that are doing everything we can to make this the safest big city in America. Do we have zero crime? No, no one does. The fact is we're trying to work towards that, and I think we're doing a really, really good job right now. We know we're not through the end of the year, but the fact is that we are doing quite well for where we are. And you know, but the fact is that we have quality officers that aren't just here to work in our community, they're part of our community, right? And that's what that partnership is. And you know, that's what this press conference is about. You know, we hear from people, we try to adjust, evolve, and make sure that we can do it a little bit better, you know, as far as communications, things of that nature, so that they're aware of the impacts that might happen on them.
Commissioner, could you talk a little bit about just sort of specifically why having it go through the park will be better? Like what the reason for this?
So, you know, I don't want to get too much into the strategies of stuff, but the fact is it's not a residential area, right? It's not in the midst of two large housing developments in general across that, where there's multiple residences, 3 families or whatever. It's not in a residential area. It's more on the outskirts. It's more park area. So, I mean, that's the number one reason why you're moving it out of the residence place, so it has less of an impact for them. I mean, that's the number one reason, but there's some other reasons too.
Basically, it keeps it out of neighborhoods where gangs think they have jurisdiction.
It keeps it out of areas where there's a large urban environment where people live together already. Yeah, and so.
The suggestion was made that you get some reinforcements from state police, other jurisdictions. Was that considered? Why not bring in other manpower resources?
Again, you know, we do this every single year. State police actually helps us every single year. This is not the first time we've had this event. And the reality is, I think we certainly have sufficient number of people for this event. We've had larger events in our city. There's no doubt about that. The marathon, there's some other pretty major events. We had the Celtics parade, you know, an incredibly large event in general that went off without a hitch. And the fact is that, you know, we're proud of the men and women that we have. We have quality police. And, you know, it's maybe not the number that we would love, but there's no place who does. There's no one. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's any industry right now in this country that's flush with people in general. And so we're doing all we can to attract people to want to do this job and give back. And I think it always begins by acknowledging the good work, the noble work that they do on a daily basis for the public.
In order to have the
One more
manpower that
question.
you need for the event, will any neighborhoods in the city have less than their normal complement of the police officers and EMS people on duty to handle the neighborhood's needs?
So the one thing is about, we're one city, right? We're one police department. And so the needs of our entire city, the resources, that's part of our job to move them as we need to make sure that everybody is safe. And that's what we do it on a day-to-day basis for the most part. And so, yeah, no, we don't have to worry about that.
There's a city council push, a city councilor is pushing for a conversation of repealing the residency requirement for police officers to address the staffing shortage. How would you respond to that? Are you open to the idea?
So that's, you know, a little bit above my pay scale, but I will say this. The problem with, you know, universally, and it's not just here in Boston, and I said we're having trouble attracting people on a job. There's many cities and towns that don't have a residency requirement that still are having trouble attracting people. So if that was the answer, I'd probably be first and foremost saying, hey, we should do that. But there's no correlation between the residency and us being able to fill a major city police department and attracting the number of people we need. There are many, many places that have no residency, will take people from all over the country, and they are still having trouble attracting people to this field. And so, and I always say that, I don't have true facts on this, but the fact is people need to understand the importance of what we do, the quality of what we do, particularly here in Boston. And deeply proud of the work that they do. And the fact is that sometimes being criticized, we're having more success, and I can't think any other mayor having any better success. And I hate to say this, I can't even think of any other police commissioner having the kind of statistical success that we're having. But yet, we're still being questioned on what are we doing, why aren't we doing it better? I think it's kind of weird. But to answer your question, we're doing all we can to recruit folks. And it begins by actually, praising the people that do the work, praising all our partners that are here helping us to provide public safety, and making sure people understand that we're here to help and support. We need their support too, because they're part of the formula also.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Richard, you've been here a long time. You've been here a long time.
51 years.
I think Bill Bratton was on the front of Time Magazine, and he had less deaths than the guy. And I'm criticizing David. I'm like, why not?